Right, boys and girls, this is just a short video and I'm only going to start on the first part of the overdrive unit. I've got it all dismantled, as you can see, so I'm just going to do this first part and then we'll see how we progress from there. I may have to pause the video while I'm doing a couple of jobs. I'll show you what I've got so far to do. That's the old bearing that came out of the overdrive unit. Now there's nothing wrong with this bearing, it's quite a good bearing, but it's very quiet, it doesn't make any noise at all, there's no playing or anything in it. So but as a matter of course, because I've already got it dismantled, I did buy a new bearing. So that's a new replacement bearing, and yeah, that's going in complete with the circlip. Now thanks to Stuart Morgan, I was trying to source the tail shaft, the overdrive tail shaft oil seal, and as you can see, it's a special seal. It's got a felt washer inside the edge of it, and I'm presuming that's to keep the tail shaft lubricated. It's just a regular seal, which I do have. I managed to salvage another seal. I managed to salvage the felt washer out of the old seal, and this is a replacement seal, but obviously it's not a metal case. So that was my last resort, using the old felt washer and this particular seal, and I will give the part number for that in case you can't source one. But again, Stuart Morgan did manage to provide me with this original part, and I'm very pleased about that, because I know I can install that straight in. So yeah, that's where we're with that one. So I'm just going to start just by installing a couple of little things. There's something that I'd like to point out to you before we go any further. Inside the overdrive housing, I'm sure you can't see it here. I'll just try and get it. It's a very heavy piece, but inside that gearbox housing, it's machined out. And there's a, I'll see if I can get my finger in there. Just where my fingertip is now, there's a recess for the washer, for the circlip. Now you must make sure that your bearing goes the right way around, because you've got to grasp that bearing when you're installing it. So you've got to make sure, as I say, that the bearing's the right way around, and it fits on with it this way around, like so, not with the circlip uppermost when you install it onto the planetary gears, because this is the part that pushes into the back of the tail shaft. So we'll make a start and see how far we get. I might have to pause the video, guys, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, there is a circlip on this thing that obviously I'll have to get off first. So I'll just pause the video while I get the circlip off. Right, now as you can see, the circlip that was on this bearing that it came with is not the same as the circlip that holds the bearing into the overdrive unit. Because this bearing that's in the overdrive unit, you have to spread it through the inspection hole. There's an inspection hole here. Sorry. There's an inspection hole here with a Welsh plug in it, that you've got to, when this is in situ, you have to spread those arms of that bearing to get it into place. So what you've got to do before you install the bearing, you've got to put this circlip into the housing. So I'll just pause the video again while I put the circlip in the housing for you. Right guys, if you look inside there now, you'll see that the circlip is installed in the housing there. It fits in the recess that I pointed out earlier. Now this is where the difficult part comes, because you've got to press the bearing into that location there while spreading out the circlip, because the bearing won't force in without that. So anyway, we'll carry on with the rest of the assembly for now. Right guys, first of all, our bearing goes in. Making sure we've got it the right way around, because this is the part that presses into the thing. So we need the circlip at the lowermost part. So So the bearing slides onto the shaft like so, and that's the bearing in place. And you can see I've got the circlip facing the planetary gear at this end, because this is the part of the bearing that is going to press into the housing, and you're opening the circlip out so that it slides down over this part here, and then it'll lock into place on there. Then we put the this is the governor or something, or the drive for the speedo, I believe, this one. And there is actually a woodruff key, which you must be careful not to lose, guys. There's a woodruff key on this shaft just there, so you make sure you don't lose your woodruff key when you're dismantling that. And obviously line up the shaft with the woodruff key, and then it'll just slide on. There, it's on, like so. I'll just pause the video, guys. Right, guys, yeah, sorry about that. I did actually have the this drive the wrong way around. So yeah, that just fits on there like that, guys. That drives I think that drives the speedo. Not sure. There you go, lads. There's a little circlip that fits over that also. So you need to get that opened up and put on. Slide that down the shaft, and that just locks. You're seeing it as I'm doing it, guys, so you know. That's it. That's locked into place now, as you can see on that shaft with that circlip. So that's what we've got there. And basically that's the first part of your overdrive rebuilt. This section then slides into the housing. Now I'm going to pause the video and just see how that goes, because it's all new to me. So let's just pause the video and see where we get to. Right, guys, I've pushed the shaft into the housing. Now if you look carefully, you can see the circlip and you can see the edge of the bearing. Now the bearing's got to be pushed over the circlip and into the back of the housing. So I'm just going to spread the circlip. What I'm going to use is this pair of circlip pliers, and I've actually just filed the end so that it doesn't slip off the circlip. I've filed both the ends, and what you've got to do is just got to get that down there and hold the circlip apart. You can see it slips off quite easily, and it's a two-handed job. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to pause the video again. You can see the circlip in the housing in there. I'm going to have to pause the video again until I've pushed the bearing past, and then we'll see that the circlip's locked in. So I'll just pause the video again, guys, and this is the only way I can do it, I'm afraid, because I'm struggling with the facilities that I've got. Right, guys, it's a two-handed job, but as you can see, I've spread the circlip out and I've pushed the bearing a little bit further in. So the bearing is now sliding over the top of in between the circlip. Circlip is pushed to both sides. Now if you don't do that, you'll never ever get the gear in and the shaft in. So you must remember to do that. And again, the circlip's quite difficult to get out. You might need to make yourself a little tool to do that. So I'll pause the video again and I'll show you the little tool that I have made to do this job. Right, this was just like a little gas thing for tightening the barbecue gas thing onto the barbecue. So what I did, I've made it exactly the same width as the slot where the Welsh plug fits in, and I've tapered the end, and I can actually, it fits quite tight because I wanted it to be a tight fit. But when you knock that in, into the circlip, where the circlip is, this will just push the circlip out, so that you're not covering it with my hands, I'm sorry. This will just push the circlip out enough for you to get that in. Now you guys with a little bit more experience might think of another solution to doing that, but it's done the job for me. My new bearing's in situ now. All I've got to do now is press it home using my bearing press. I'll pack this up so that I'm not pressing on the palantir gears. It's got to go in. I guess it's got to go in about another. It's got to go in about another ½ inch yet. So I'll just press that in with my bearing press, and then I'll come back to you and show you what we're doing next. So again, I'll pause the video. Right, boys and girls, if you look closely now down I've pressed the bearing in, and I'm afraid I couldn't show it because with the tools that I had, I couldn't get a location for the camera, and it would have been an awkward video to make. I can assure you that once you've got the bearing located into the housing and your circlip's in the right position, you start it off quite gently with a mallet until it starts touching the circlip. You can then open the circlip out using either your circlip pliers or this little tool inserted into the thing that'll keep the circlip spread open. Just give it another gentle tap with your mallet, nice rubber mallet. Tap it gently in until the bearing passes the circlip. You can then force your tool in a bit further so that you definitely know that the circlip is not going to spring in, and then gently press it in. And it doesn't take very much pressure at all to press into that housing. I've seen them where they just fall out on some of the YouTube videos, but mine unfortunately didn't, and I had to force it out. But it's pressed in nicely, and that's the first part of the Overdrive now rebuilt. So it's been a bit of a boring video insofar as that I've had to keep stopping and pausing, but we've got the bearing in. The next job is to put this end seal in, and basically it's just as simple as sliding something over the top of there and tapping it into situ. So that's our next job. So like I say, I'll give you a more updated video when we're doing something a bit more constructive. So I hope you've liked what you've seen so far. I'm a beginner to all this overdrive and gearbox, so let's just say that we're all learning together, unless you've done one of these yourself. So thanks very much for watching. If you like the channel and you're liking what you're seeing, just give us a thumbs up. It's nice to get, just a little bit of appreciation. Thank you.